Right, so let's talk about the volume and surface area. In this video, we'll be talking about cylinders particularly. So cylinder is a figure that looks something like this, which has a round top and a round bottom, and the radius of the circle, at the top and at the bottom is equal, and it stays constant throughout, so it doesn't change, right? So if it changes, it actually makes a different figure, not a cylinder. So cylinder, in order to understand cylinder, we first of all need to understand circles, right? So a circle is a figure that is round in shape, just like the one at the top. And from the center point to the circumference of the circle, this boundary of the circle is called circumference. This length is called r radius, right? So this is the radius of the circle. And let me actually write it down here. So this is the radius of the circle. And now this length of the circle, the basically how high the cylinder is, this length of the cylinder is called h, the height of the cylinder, right? And we know that the area to calculate the formula to calculate the area of the circle is the area of a circle. Area of circle is pi r square. So we multiply the value of pi, which is 3.14, with the radius, and we first of all square the radius, right? So whatever the value of this radius, if we square it and then multiply it with pi in order to get the area uh, of this circle, right? So from the concept of dimensions, as I taught in a video earlier, that uh, whenever we stack or whenever we connect many different planes together, infinitely many planes together, we get a three-dimensional figure. So this cylinder is a three-dimensional figure, right? So whenever we stack or connect infinitely many infinitely many circles, right? Like the one at the bottom here. And we keep on, just stacking more and more circles on one on top of another, but there are infinitely many of, infinitesimally small thickness. So we get the three-dimensional figure. So how do we calculate the volume of this figure? So volume is just the base area of something multiplied by its height. How many, uh, you know, the number of circles that you just stack on one another in order to get this cylinder is actually going to give you the volume of that three-dimensional figure, right? So base area, which is pi r square, into the height. How high this is going to give you the volume. So we multiply this height factor here because if the height is more, the volume is going to be greater. It is going to create a greater three-dimensional figure. So the concept is basically simple. We just need to have a base area, and then we multiply that base area with height of that figure in order to get the volume. The condition is that the figure should be regular, like a cylinder. If the radius decreases as we go up, then the formula will not exist. In that case, it would be a cone and we'll have a different formula for its volume, right? So that's how we calculate the volume of a cylinder. In order to calculate the surface area, right? So surface area is like the area of the surface of this cylinder. We will consider two cases. The first one is that the opening or and the ending of this cylinder is hollow. For example, there is the top of this cylinder is not covered with any material, and so is bottom. Then only what we are left with is the curved surface area. So we can imagine cutting down this cylinder from here. Let's do it in uh, this cyan color. So we can cut the cylinder from here, right? And we can just make it open up. So consider it as a tissue paper roll, for example, and you cut it right across and you just unroll it. So it becomes a rectangle. It becomes a rectangle. So it becomes something like this. And this is the cut region. You cut it from here. But the cyan color that is present here in the boundary is actually this area that you cut it with, right? So now this circumference of the circle, this circumference that I'm going to here, redraw with red, is going to be this length of the rectangle, right? And this, cut section that you cut the cylinder with is actually the cyan section. The area of the rectangle, as we know, is just this length, which is basically circumference. So I'm going to write C, and this is the height. This cyan, this cut section in cyan is actually height. So this is height. So circumference into height. We just need to multiply circumference with height in order to get the curved surface area, right? So we know that area of this is CH. So the curved surface area of the cylinder should be CH. And what is circumference? Circumference is so surface area of the cylinder is equal to circumference, which is 2 pi r into h, right? So this will give you the curved surface area. And in case the cylinder is closed from top and bottom, then we just need to add 2 times pi r square, because these are just two circles. And two circles means 2 pi r squared. Pi r squared is the formula for the area of the circle that we just wrote down here. That's how we calculate the surface area of the cylinder.